Have you noticed that carbs don't sit well with your body anymore? No matter how careful you are? As we age, our metabolism slows, our insulin response shifts, and our bodies become far less forgiving when it comes to what we eat, especially carbs. That plate of pasta or slice of white bread that once gave us quick energy may now leave us sluggish, bloated, and even moody. And yet many older adults continue to rely on these very same foods, unaware that they're working against their energy, brain clarity, and long-term health. In this video, we're diving into 6 smart food swaps that can make a big difference for your body after 60. We're not just talking about weight here. We're talking about sharper thinking, steadier moods, stronger digestion, and even better sleep, all by cutting out the carbs that drag you down and choosing what your body actually thrives on instead. These aren't trendy fixes or complicated diets. They're simple changes you can start making right now, using everyday foods that support your health and vitality. Stay tuned until the end because you'll discover not just what to eat, but why these choices matter more than ever as you age. And most importantly, how these 6 changes can help you feel like yourself again, or maybe even better. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Now let's get started. Number 1, beans instead of bread or pasta. One of the smartest swaps you can make in your later years is trading in refined carbs, like white bread and pasta for hearty, fiber-rich beans. It might not sound like a big change, but the impact on your health can be profound. When you eat bread or pasta made from refined flour, your body quickly turns it into sugar, which causes your blood sugar to spike and then crash. Over time, this roller coaster effect can leave you feeling drained, mentally, foggy, and even anxious. But beans, on the other hand, release energy slowly, giving your body a steady source of fuel without the ups and downs. What's remarkable about beans like lentils, black beans, or navy beans is that they're packed with both fiber and protein. This means you stay full longer, feel satisfied without overeating, and give your digestive system the help it needs. As we age, digestion can become sluggish, and fiber plays a key role in keeping things moving. Plus, protein becomes more important as we try to preserve our muscle mass and maintain strength. With beans, you're getting both in one simple, affordable food. There's also a psychological shift that happens when you move away from refined carbs. Many older adults, whether they realize it or not, have developed a comfort-based attachment to things like toast, rolls, and spaghetti. These foods remind us of family dinners, comfort meals, and simpler times. But just because something is familiar doesn't mean it's helping you now. In fact, those very foods may be standing between you and better energy, clearer thinking, and improved metabolism. Let me tell you about Harold. He's 74 and used to eat toast with every meal, white toast for breakfast, sandwich bread at lunch, and rolls at dinner. He felt tired all the time and chalked it up to age. But after gradually swapping his toast and pasta for black beans and chickpeas, he noticed something surprising: his digestion improved. He had fewer cravings and his afternoon naps became optional, not necessary. He didn't overhaul his life. He just replaced what wasn't working with something better. That's the power of this swap. It's not just about removing something, it's about replacing it with something that supports your body and your brain. Beans also have another quiet benefit: they help regulate cholesterol and protect your heart, which becomes more and more important the older we get. And unlike trendy health foods that cost a fortune, beans are accessible and easy to work into your meals. Toss them in salads, soups, or just warm them up with some olive oil and herbs. They're as flexible as they are powerful. If you've been relying on bread or pasta as your go-to comfort food, it's worth asking yourself whether that comfort is worth the cost to your body. There's nothing wrong with craving something satisfying, but it's even more satisfying when it gives something back. Beans do that. And over time, they can become not just part of your meal, but part of how you take care of yourself with intention and wisdom. Number 2, healthy fats instead of sugary snacks. One of the biggest mistakes older adults make, often without even realizing it, is reaching for sugary snacks when energy runs low. Cookies, pastries, sweetened granola bars, or even fruit juices might seem harmless, but they can quietly sabotage your health. As you age, your body becomes more sensitive to sugar, and what once gave you a temporary pick-me-up now leaves you feeling sluggish, irritable, and craving more. The key to breaking this cycle isn't just about removing sugar. It's about replacing it with something your body actually needs: healthy fats. Healthy fats like those found in avocados, walnuts, almonds, and olive oil nourish your brain, support your heart, and help keep your hormones balanced. These fats don't cause your blood sugar to spike and crash. Instead, they provide sustained energy and help you feel full longer. And that's especially important in older age, when your metabolism naturally slows and hunger signals can become confusing. By choosing healthy fats over sugar, you're giving your body fuel that works with you, not against you. Let's be honest, many of us grew up in a time when fat was the enemy. We were told to avoid it at all costs. But the science has changed, and we now know that good fats are not only safe, they're essential. They help protect against cognitive decline, support joint health, and even improve mood. When you snack on a handful of almonds or spread some avocado on whole grain crackers, you're not just avoiding sugar. You're actively building a better foundation for your well-being. Take Margaret, for instance. She's 68 and used to reach for something sweet every afternoon. It became a habit, something small to lift her spirits. But the more she did it, the more sluggish she felt by evening. When she started swapping those snacks for olives, nuts, or slices of avocado with lemon, she noticed her energy stayed steady and her mood didn't crash. What's more, she stopped needing to snack so often because she felt satisfied. It wasn't about eating less. It was about eating smarter. This kind of change also affects how you see yourself. When you make deliberate food choices that truly serve you, you start feeling more in control, not just of your appetite, but of your day. Sugary snacks often come with a side of guilt, especially when you know they're not doing you any favors. But healthy fats don't carry that weight. They nourish without the crash, and they leave you feeling better, not worse. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, sweet potatoes instead of white potatoes. For many of us, white potatoes have been a staple on the dinner plate for decades, mashed, baked, or fried. They're warm, familiar, and undeniably comforting. But as we age, those same potatoes that once felt like a hearty side dish may be doing more harm than good. White potatoes are high on the glycemic index, meaning they convert to sugar in the body very quickly. That sudden surge can strain your blood sugar, leaving you tired, foggy, or even irritable not long after eating. Over time, this pattern can quietly wear down your energy, your mood, and your long-term health. Now here's the good news. You don't have to give up comfort food to make a better choice. Sweet potatoes offer the same warm, starchy satisfaction, but with far more benefits and a much gentler impact on your blood sugar. They're rich in fiber, vitamins like A and C, and they contain antioxidants that help reduce inflammation. That last part is especially important because chronic inflammation is a major contributor to many age-related diseases, from joint pain to heart issues to memory decline. What makes sweet potatoes so special isn't just what they give, it's also what they don't take away. Unlike white potatoes, which can leave you feeling sleepy or bloated, sweet potatoes tend to energize and satisfy without the crash. They support your immune system, your skin health, and your digestive health, all things that become more important with each passing year. And if you're watching your blood pressure, the potassium in sweet potatoes helps balance sodium and support heart function in a gentle, natural way. Let me tell you about Frank. He's 79 and grew up in a meat and potatoes household. Every dinner had some form of white potato on the plate. He didn't think much of it until his doctor suggested he try sweet potatoes for a month. Frank wasn't convinced at first. He liked his routine. But after a few weeks of swapping mashed white potatoes for roasted sweet potatoes with herbs, he noticed his digestion improved, his afternoon energy lasted longer, and surprisingly, he didn't miss the old version at all. In fact, he started experimenting with different spices and ways to prepare them, something he hadn't done in years. This kind of change may seem small, but the effect it can have on your day-to-day life is real. You're not giving up comfort, you're redefining it. Sweet potatoes can become a reliable, feel-good part of your meals, not just nutritionally, but emotionally. You still get that cozy feeling from a warm, familiar side dish, but this time, it's working with your body, not against it. And that's what aging well is really about, honoring your needs today, not clinging to habits from yesterday. When you replace white potatoes with sweet potatoes, you're not just making a food swap, you're making a values shift. You're choosing nourishment over nostalgia, strength over spikes, and intention over habit. And the more you do that, the more your body will thank you, not just today, but years down the road. Number 4, low-carb vegetables instead of rice or noodles. For many older adults, rice or noodles have become the backbone of quick, satisfying meals. They're easy to cook, easy to chew, and pair well with almost anything. But ease and comfort can come at a cost, especially when it comes to your blood sugar, weight, and inflammation. Both white rice and traditional noodles are high in simple carbohydrates, and the body breaks them down rapidly into sugar. That sugar spike might not cause immediate problems, but over time, it contributes to insulin resistance, fatigue, and even chronic conditions that can silently chip away at your quality of life. Here's the thing. Your body isn't just reacting to the food you eat. It's responding to patterns. When those patterns are made up of high-carb meals day after day, year after year, it becomes harder for your system to regulate itself. But the fix doesn't have to be complicated. Swapping rice or noodles with low-carb vegetables like cauliflower, zucchini, or spaghetti squash is a powerful way to turn things around without sacrificing the texture or satisfaction you're used to. These vegetables are incredibly versatile and surprisingly filling. Cauliflower can be riced and sautéed to mimic the fluffiness of traditional rice. Zucchini can be spiralized into long, noodle-like strands that hold sauces beautifully. Spaghetti squash, once roasted, pulls apart into golden threads that resemble pasta and soak up flavors in a way that feels deeply familiar. But beyond their versatility, these swaps bring something more important to the table. They help lower inflammation, ease digestion, and stabilize blood sugar. As we get older, inflammation becomes a quiet but dangerous part of aging. It can cause joint pain, fatigue, and cognitive decline, and many of the foods we eat either fight it or feed it. Low-carb vegetables are packed with antioxidants, fiber, and water, which help cool down the body's internal stress. They also support your gut health, which plays a much bigger role in mood, immunity, and even memory than most people realize. Let me share the story of Diane. She's 70 and used to eat pasta at least 3 nights a week. It was easy, familiar, and something she could make quickly after a long day. But she started noticing her hands felt swollen, her knees ached more than usual, and her energy dipped after dinner. Her doctor mentioned the possibility of inflammation and suggested she try swapping some of her carbs for vegetables. At first, Diane was skeptical, but she gave it a try, starting with zucchini noodles under her favorite tomato sauce. Within a few weeks, her joint discomfort started to fade, and her evenings no longer ended in a fog of fatigue. She didn't feel deprived, she felt better. That's the real magic of this kind of change. It's not about giving things up, it's about gaining back what matters: comfort without the crash, satisfaction without the soreness, and ease without the damage. And just as important, these swaps keep you engaged with your food. They invite you to try something new, to be creative, and to take ownership of your health in a way that feels empowering rather than overwhelming. If you've ever felt stiff after dinner or sluggish in the morning, after a heavy meal the night before, it might be time to re-examine what's really on your plate. Rice and noodles might be easy, but so is roasting some cauliflower or sautéing zucchini in garlic and olive oil. The real shift happens when you realize you're not just feeding yourself, you're investing in your future. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, fermented foods instead of carb-heavy side dishes. For many years, side dishes like dinner rolls, mashed potatoes, and buttered corn have been considered the comforting backdrop to a good meal. They're soft, starchy, and familiar, easy to prepare, and even easier to overeat. But these carb-heavy sides, especially when eaten regularly, can quietly do more harm than good. They spike your blood sugar, promote bloating, and offer little to no benefit to your gut health. And as you get older, your gut plays a far more important role than most people realize. It's the foundation of your digestion, your immunity, and even your mental clarity. One of the most powerful things you can do for your gut and for your overall well-being is to add fermented foods to your meals in place of traditional starches. Foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, yogurt with live cultures, or even small servings of miso can introduce beneficial bacteria that your body truly needs. These probiotics help maintain a healthy balance in your gut, improve digestion, and may even help ease chronic issues like constipation, inflammation, and fatigue. Unlike starchy side dishes that may fill your belly but leave you sluggish, fermented foods support your body on a much deeper level. What's remarkable is how little it takes to see a difference. You don't need to fill your plate with kimchi or sip on kefir all day long. A small portion alongside your regular meals can begin to reset your internal system and help your body absorb nutrients more effectively. This becomes especially important with age, as our ability to absorb key nutrients like calcium, B vitamins, and magnesium tends to decline. A well-balanced gut helps make sure those nutrients don't just pass through, but actually get used where they're needed. Take Edward, for example. He's 76 and had struggled with bloating and irregular digestion for years. He thought it was just part of aging, something he had to live with. But after a conversation with a friend, he started adding a tablespoon of sauerkraut to his lunch and a small glass of kefir to his evening routine. Within 2 weeks, he noticed less bloating, more regularity, and an unexpected bonus. His mind felt clearer. He said it was like a fog had lifted. And all it took was a simple swap on his plate. There's also something empowering about taking charge of your gut health. It reminds you that you're not at the mercy of your body, you can work with it. And fermented foods, with all their tangy flavor and ancient tradition, bring a sense of vitality back to the table. They don't just replace something old. They reconnect you to something wise, something time-tested, and something that brings your whole system into better balance. Of course, not everyone likes the taste of fermented foods right away. They can be strong, even surprising. But like many good habits, they grow on you. Start small. A spoonful here, a sip there. Give your body time to adjust and give yourself credit for trying something new. This isn't just a food choice, it's a form of self-care. It's a quiet statement that you value your health, your clarity, and your comfort. Number 6, low-sugar fruits instead of traditional desserts. Dessert has always been one of life's simple pleasures. A slice of pie after dinner, a scoop of ice cream on a warm evening, or a few cookies with your afternoon coffee. These small treats have a way of comforting us. But as we get older, the way our bodies respond to sugar changes dramatically. What once felt like a harmless indulgence now lingers in the form of brain fog, aching joints, restless sleep, or stubborn weight that refuses to budge. And while no one is saying you can never enjoy a treat again, the truth is, the more sugar we remove from our daily routine, the better we tend to feel physically, mentally, and emotionally. So what's the alternative? It's simpler than you might think. Instead of reaching for traditional desserts loaded with added sugars and processed ingredients, choose low-sugar fruits like berries, citrus, or even a few slices of pear or apple with cinnamon. These fruits are naturally sweet, packed with fiber, and loaded with antioxidants that actively fight inflammation and support healthy aging. They give you the taste of something sweet without the crash or the blood sugar roller coaster. There's a subtle but powerful difference between eating sugar out of habit and choosing natural sweetness with purpose. When you eat a bowl of fresh blueberries or a few strawberries after dinner, you're not just satisfying a craving, you're nourishing your body, helping your memory, and supporting your heart. The fiber in these fruits slows down the release of sugar into your bloodstream, meaning you get energy without the spike. And that means fewer cravings, steadier moods, and better sleep at night. Let me tell you about Lorraine. She's 81 and had a habit of ending every dinner with a slice of cake or a few cookies. She didn't think much of it. It was just her way of winding down. But she started noticing her hands felt stiff in the morning, her memory wasn't quite as sharp, and her energy dipped more than it used to. Her granddaughter, who'd been reading about sugar and aging, suggested a small change. Together, they started making simple desserts with berries, Greek yogurt, and a sprinkle of cinnamon. Lorraine didn't expect much, but after a few weeks, she felt more energetic, her joints felt less tight, and she even said her sleep became more restful. That's the kind of quiet transformation that sneaks up on you. Not with fanfare, but with peace. You don't miss the heavy desserts as much as you expect, because your body begins to feel lighter, clearer, and more steady. And you start to realize that true satisfaction doesn't come from sweetness alone. It comes from how you feel afterward. When dessert leaves you feeling nourished instead of drained, it becomes something you look forward to with pride, not guilt. Choosing fruit over processed dessert is more than a dietary swap. It's a gesture of care toward yourself. It says, I want to feel good tomorrow, not just I want to taste something now. And when you make that kind of choice consistently, the effects ripple out into every part of your life, your clarity, your energy, your movement, even your confidence. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, take a quiet moment to reflect on the 6 changes we've explored. Maybe 1 or 2 stood out to you, maybe all of them did. The important thing to remember is that aging doesn't mean losing control over how you feel. In fact, it can be a season of renewal, where each choice becomes an opportunity to support your energy, protect your brain, and strengthen your body. Which of these swaps feels most doable for you right now? Maybe it's adding beans to your salad, or keeping berries on hand for your after-dinner treat. These aren't dramatic overhauls. They're gentle adjustments that build momentum over time. And that momentum can shift how you move through the day, how you sleep at night, and even how you see yourself. This isn't just about avoiding carbs. It's about choosing foods that respect your body, honor your experience, and give back more than they take. You've spent a lifetime caring for others, building families, working hard, and pushing through. Now it's time to give that same care and intention to yourself, one meal at a time. Did you know some stupid everyday habits are actually speeding up your aging? The truth is, many habits that once kept us productive or secure can quietly harm our health, clarity, and independence as we age. But no one talks about them. And by the time we realize it, we've already paid the price in stiffness, fatigue, and missed appointments that leave us frustrated or even ashamed. In this video, we're going to explore 6 surprising things that you should stop doing after 70. Not because someone said so, but because letting go of these habits can open the door to a more energetic, capable, and enjoyable life. These are not vague suggestions or unrealistic goals. These are patterns many older folks fall into without realizing it. And changing them now might just help you feel more like yourself again. Stay tuned until the end because you'll not only recognize a few of these in your own life, you'll also walk away with simple ways to turn things around starting today. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Let's get into it. Number 1, avoiding strength-based movement. One of the biggest mistakes people make after 70 is assuming it's safer to slow down and do less. It sounds reasonable. Your joints might ache more than they used to. Your balance may not feel quite the same. And the thought of lifting anything heavier than a grocery bag might feel intimidating. So, many older adults stop using their muscles altogether, thinking that rest equals protection. But in reality, avoiding strength-based movement is one of the fastest ways to lose independence, mobility, and the ability to live life on your own terms. Muscle doesn't just keep you strong, it keeps you alive. After 70, muscle loss, also known as sarcopenia, begins to accelerate unless we actively work to preserve it. This isn't about lifting heavy weights at the gym or training like a bodybuilder. It's about keeping the muscles you already have engaged. Even small amounts of resistance, like bodyweight exercises, light dumbbells, or resistance bands can make a huge difference. The key is consistency and intention. Every step you take, every time you stand up without assistance, every time you carry a bag or reach for something on a shelf, your muscles are the reason you can do it. Let me tell you about George. He's 82 and used to avoid most physical activity after a minor fall. A few years ago, he was afraid to push himself, afraid of getting hurt again. So he stuck to the recliner, the short walks, the familiar routines. But after a visit to a physical therapist, he learned that inactivity was doing more damage than movement ever could. He started with 5-minute strength routines, nothing fancy. Just standing from a chair without using his hands, lifting soup cans and practicing balance by standing on one leg near the kitchen counter. Within 2 months, his legs felt steadier and his confidence started to return. There's something powerful that happens when you use your body with purpose. It's not just about mobility, it's about dignity. It's about knowing you can get out of bed without fear, walk through the store without needing to lean on a cart, or get down to the floor to play with your grandchild and know you can get back up. Strength gives you that, and it doesn't take hours a day. Just a few simple, repeated movements can begin to rebuild what time has tried to take away. The reason many people don't talk about this is because strength loss happens quietly. It doesn't hurt, at least not right away, but you notice it in the little things. Getting winded faster, struggling with stairs, or needing to lean on your arm just to stand up. The sooner you notice it, the sooner you can reverse it. It's never too late, and you don't need fancy equipment. You just need to decide that staying strong matters more than staying still. Number 2, eating like you did in your 40s. One thing that trips up a lot of people after 70 is believing they can eat the same way they always have. Same portion sizes, same timing, same comfort foods on repeat. It feels familiar, it feels easy, and for a long time, it might have worked just fine. But your body isn't running on the same fuel system it had 30 years ago. Your metabolism has slowed, your digestion may be less efficient, and your nutritional needs have changed. Yet many folks continue eating out of habit instead of hunger, and that quiet mistake can lead to weight gain, sluggishness, and even blood sugar problems that sneak up on you. The truth is, after 70, every bite matters more. Your body doesn't need as much food as it used to, but it does need more of the right kinds of foods rich in nutrients, easy to digest, and designed to support your bones, brain, and energy levels. That means fewer large servings of heavy meats, starchy carbs or processed snacks, and more small, balanced meals made up of fiber-rich vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and water-dense fruits. It's not about starving yourself. It's about eating in a way that supports how your body works today, not how it worked 30 years ago. Let me tell you about Helen. She's 75 and never thought much about her meals. 3 hearty ones a day, just like she did her whole life. But she started noticing that after dinner, she felt bloated. Her energy dropped in the afternoon, and her pants no longer fit the way they used to. Her doctor didn't scold her. He simply asked her to try something different, slightly smaller portions, adding more vegetables and paying attention to when she actually felt full. Within a month, she wasn't just lighter. She felt clearer. Her sleep improved, and she said her mood lifted in ways she hadn't expected. This isn't about dieting. It's about adjusting. Just like you wouldn't wear the same shoes you wore in your 30s, your body doesn't benefit from the same eating patterns either. With age comes wisdom, and that includes wisdom about food. Eating less isn't about deprivation, it's about efficiency. It's about giving your body what it needs and letting go of the extras that only slow it down. When your meals are balanced and intentional, your body starts to respond with more energy, sharper thinking, and steadier moods. And here's something that doesn't get said enough. It's okay to have new eating rules in this season of life. In fact, it's a sign of self-respect. You're not giving up the joys of food. You're giving yourself a better relationship with it. You're learning to notice what really satisfies you, what supports your day, and what makes you feel your best. That kind of awareness isn't just healthy, it's freeing. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, pulling away from social connection. After 70, it can be surprisingly easy to drift into isolation without even realizing it. You might stop going out as much, cancel plans more often, or convince yourself that staying home is just more comfortable. Sometimes it's due to physical limitations. Other times it's emotional. You feel like you don't have as much to contribute anymore. Or maybe people just don't reach out like they used to, so you quietly retreat. You tell yourself it's fine, that you like the peace and quiet. But the truth is, social disconnection can do more harm to your health than you'd ever imagine. Loneliness isn't just a feeling, it's a health risk. Studies have shown that isolation in older adults can lead to depression, memory decline, and even a higher risk of heart disease. The brain thrives on connection, and when you remove that steady interaction with others, your mind begins to turn inward in ways that aren't always helpful. Conversations, shared laughter, even a simple phone call, all of these act like mental exercise. They keep you sharp, grounded, and emotionally stable. And perhaps most importantly, they remind you that you still matter. Let me tell you about Sylvia. She's 80 and had slowly stopped seeing her friends. After her husband passed away, she told herself she needed time, but months turned into years. Her memory felt foggy, her days all started blending together, and her motivation dropped. Her daughter encouraged her to attend a weekly senior yoga class, just for something to do. Sylvia was hesitant at first, but she went. And what surprised her wasn't the exercise, it was the people. Sharing a joke before class, talking about their week afterward, it brought color back into her life. She didn't even realize how much she'd missed it. This doesn't mean you have to join a bunch of clubs or force yourself into noisy events. It means finding small ways to stay connected: a weekly phone call, a regular walk with a neighbor, a church group, or even an online hobby community. These little interactions act like emotional vitamins. They keep your spirit nourished. and remind you that you're not alone in this season of life. And the more connected you feel, the more resilient your body and mind become. The tricky part is that pulling away often feels safe. It's quiet, predictable, but there's a difference between enjoying solitude and living in isolation. One recharges you, the other slowly drains you. You have so much wisdom, warmth, and humor to share, and people benefit from having you in their lives, whether you realize it or not. When you reach out, you're not just helping yourself. You're reminding someone else that they're not alone either. Number 4, ignoring small health symptoms. One of the most dangerous habits that can creep in after 70 is brushing off small health symptoms because they seem minor or familiar. A little dizziness here, a bit of chest tightness there, or maybe just some extra fatigue in the afternoon. You tell yourself it's just part of getting older. You don't want to be dramatic, you don't want to be a burden, and frankly, you're tired of sitting in waiting rooms. So you ignore it. But ignoring small signs can be a big mistake, especially in your later years when early detection often means the difference between a quick fix and a serious issue. The body becomes more vulnerable with age, but it also becomes more communicative if you're willing to listen. Symptoms that you could once shake off now matter more. That slight swelling in your ankles could be your heart asking for attention. That occasional confusion might not just be a senior moment, it might be a red flag. And the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to treat, reverse, or manage. Catching things early doesn't make you a worrier. It makes you wise. It gives you options and control, which are two things worth preserving. Let me share the story of Walter. He's 78 and always considered himself tough. He didn't like going to the doctor and rarely took anything seriously unless he was in real pain. But he started noticing his vision was blurrier than usual, and there was a strange tingling in his feet. He chalked it up to age. It wasn't until his daughter insisted that he get it checked out that he learned he had early-stage diabetes. Because he caught it early, he was able to manage it with diet and activity. But his doctor told him plainly if he'd waited much longer, it could have become irreversible. You are the expert on your own body. When something feels different, strange, or just not right, you have every reason to check it out. Not because you're weak, but because you're responsible. Health issues don't always arrive with sirens and flashing lights, they often whisper. And the older we get, the more important it becomes to pay attention to those whispers. Responding quickly can mean shorter recovery times, fewer medications, and a better overall outcome. This also means trusting your gut. If you feel dismissed or unheard by a provider, you have the right to ask questions, seek second opinions, and advocate for yourself. You've spent a lifetime looking out for others. Now it's time to apply that same care inward. Nobody else lives in your body. Nobody else knows how it feels from the inside. So if something doesn't feel quite right, speak up. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, relying on memory instead of writing things down. After 70, one of the most common yet underestimated habits is trusting your memory more than you should. You've always remembered birthdays, appointments, what pills to take and when to take them. And for most of your life, that worked just fine. So you keep doing it, reciting the day's plan in your head, reminding yourself to call someone later, or trying to keep track of your medications without writing anything down. But here's the quiet danger: memory isn't as reliable as it once was. And depending on it, without support, can lead to small slip-ups that have big consequences. Forgetting an appointment is one thing. Forgetting whether you already took your medicine is something else entirely. And it happens more than people admit. You might double up by accident or skip a dose entirely, thinking you took it earlier. That one small moment of uncertainty can snowball into real health issues, especially with blood pressure meds, diabetes medication, or pain management. But here's the truth: writing things down isn't a sign of decline. It's a sign of responsibility. It's how you protect your future and reduce stress today. Let me tell you about Bill. He's 73 and always prided himself on having a sharp mind. He handled all the bills, tracked all the birthdays, and never needed a calendar. But after missing a specialist appointment and accidentally skipping his morning dose twice in 1 week, he realized something had changed. At first, he felt embarrassed, like he was admitting weakness. But after starting a simple notebook system and setting phone alarms, he found he wasn't just remembering more, he was worrying less. He said it felt like he'd handed off some of the weight he'd been carrying silently for years. Our brains are doing a lot more than we give them credit for. And after decades of life experience, it's normal and expected for short-term memory to slow down. That doesn't mean you're failing. It means your system needs support. Writing things down, keeping a calendar on the fridge, using a pill organizer, or setting a few simple reminders on your phone, it's not about being forgetful. It's about setting yourself up for success without leaving anything to chance. What often surprises people is how freeing it feels to take things out of your head and put them somewhere visible. It clears mental space, reduces anxiety, and builds confidence. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop repeating the same mental checklists over and over. Instead, you trust the systems you've created, and your mind can finally rest a little. Number 6, resisting technology altogether. One of the most limiting things people over 70 often do, sometimes without realizing it, is completely shutting out technology. Maybe it feels overwhelming. Maybe you've tried it before and felt frustrated. Or maybe you've convinced yourself that it's just not for you. You might say things like, "I don't need all that stuff," or "I'm too old to learn," or "I've gotten by just fine without it." And while those words might feel true in the moment, they quietly build a wall between you and tools that could actually make your life easier, safer, and more connected. Technology doesn't have to mean diving into social media or buying every new gadget on the market. It can be as simple as learning how to send a text, use a voice assistant to set a reminder, or check your health records online. These tools aren't just trends, they're lifelines. They help you manage your medications, keep in touch with loved ones, get help in emergencies, and access information in seconds. By refusing to engage with it at all, you're not avoiding stress. You're increasing your dependence on others. Let me tell you about Louise. She's 79 and used to call her daughter every time she needed to check her appointment times or look up a prescription refill. Her daughter lovingly helped, but Louise felt more and more dependent. One day, her grandson showed her how to use the calendar and reminders app on her phone and how to check her pharmacy's website for refills. It wasn't easy at first. There were hiccups, questions, and a few moments of doubt. But after a few weeks, she found herself doing things independently that used to require 3 phone calls. And she felt something she hadn't felt in a long time: capable. That's what this is really about. Not mastering the latest device, but reclaiming your independence. Small wins with technology add up quickly. Checking the weather, reading messages, getting health alerts, or even joining a virtual class. These little actions remind you that you can adapt. You can grow, and you can stay connected to the world around you. You don't need to be a tech expert. You just need a little curiosity and someone patient to guide you through. And if you've ever felt ashamed or embarrassed for not knowing how to use something, let that go. Everyone starts somewhere. No one expects you to know everything right away. But giving yourself the chance to try is what matters most. Technology is not the enemy of aging, it's a powerful ally. And the more open you are to it, the more doors you open for yourself in return. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, take a quiet moment to reflect on what we've covered together. Which one of these habits do you recognize in yourself? Which one surprised you? After 70, the rules of the game change, and yet nobody hands you a new playbook. That's why it's so easy to fall into patterns that feel safe but slowly chip away at your health, your independence, and your peace of mind. But here's the truth, it's never too late to shift direction. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Just recognizing these 6 traps and being willing to take one small step away from them can bring you more clarity, more energy, and more confidence. Whether it's moving your body a little more each day, adjusting your meals to match your needs now, or finally asking someone to walk you through that new phone, you are not falling behind. You are learning to move forward with intention. Aging doesn't mean shrinking back. It means rising up with the wisdom you've earned and using it to make the rest of your life lighter, stronger, and more joyful. These habits may seem small on the surface, but every choice you make in favor of your well-being is a declaration that you still matter, that your time still matters, and that the best parts of your life are still unfolding. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Have you ever wondered if you're turning heads without realizing it? As we age, it's easy to think our best looks are behind us. You might look in the mirror and see wrinkles, gray hair, or a slower gait, and think that people aren't noticing you anymore. But the truth is, many older men become even more stunning with age, not less. And often, the signs are there long before you recognize them yourself. In this video, we're diving into 7 subtle yet powerful signs that you're a stunning older man, even if you don't see it yet. These aren't about six-pack abs or designer suits. They're about the quiet confidence, presence, and charm that develop over time and make people stop and take notice without even knowing why. If any of these feel familiar, it's not a coincidence. It's confirmation that your appeal is far stronger than you give yourself credit for. Stay tuned until the end, because these 7 signs won't just boost your confidence, they might completely change the way you see yourself from this point forward. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Let's get started. Sign 1, a calm and confident presence. One of the clearest signs that you're a stunning older man is the way people respond to your presence, even before you say a word. It's not loud or flashy. It's not about walking into a room and demanding attention. It's about that quiet, composed energy you carry with you. When a man knows who he is and doesn't feel the need to prove anything, it shows. And others feel it. People pause when you enter a space. They instinctively make room, slow down, and take notice, because there's something steady and grounded about you that speaks louder than words ever could. This kind of presence doesn't come from status or appearance. It comes from experience. It comes from walking through life's challenges, taking the hits, learning the lessons, and still showing up with grace. When you're not rattled easily, when you speak with intention, when you listen more than you interrupt, those are the things people find magnetic. Especially women, especially younger people who are drawn to the security and steadiness that comes from years of living with purpose. Let me tell you about Richard. He's 74 and doesn't consider himself handsome. He dresses simple, speaks softly, and rarely shares personal details unless asked. But when he walks into his community center for coffee, conversations naturally shift in his direction. People make eye contact. They smile. They nod, waiting for his take. Even the younger staff linger when he talks. They don't always know why, but they know they feel more grounded when he's around. That's presence. That's quiet confidence. And that's stunning. What many men don't realize is that this energy isn't accidental. It's cultivated. It's the result of choosing peace over pride, patience over reaction, and clarity over chaos. It's in the way you sit comfortably without fidgeting, the way you walk with purpose, the way you make others feel heard simply by giving them your full attention. None of this can be faked, and none of it goes unnoticed. So if you've ever had someone thank you just for being there, or if people tend to relax when they talk to you, or if you find that your presence often brings calm into a room, you're seeing the first sign. You're not just attractive. You're magnetic, and the world around you feels it, whether you're aware of it or not. Sign 2, compliments on your style or grooming. Another undeniable sign that you're a stunning older man is when people, especially women, comment on your style, your grooming, or the way you carry yourself. These compliments might seem small at first. Someone says they like your jacket, that your haircut looks sharp, or that you always smell nice. But those aren't just polite words. And they're clues. They tell you that people notice how you show up and that they admire the care you take in presenting yourself to the world. Style isn't about expensive clothing or following trends. It's about knowing what suits you and wearing it with confidence. A well-fitted shirt, clean shoes, a neatly trimmed beard, or even just a signature scent, these things say something about how much you respect yourself. They also make others feel respected because your appearance reflects the thought you've put into being fully present. And that quiet intentionality is deeply attractive. Take Martin, for example. He's 76 and lives in a small town where nobody dresses up much. But he has this way of wearing a simple navy sweater and khakis that just looks sharp. He always smells fresh, his shoes are clean, and his hair, though fully silver, is trimmed neatly every month. He doesn't make a big deal of it, but the staff at the grocery store notice. So do the women at church. So do his neighbors. One of them even said, "I don't know what it is, but you always look so put together." That's the kind of compliment that doesn't just come from how you look. It comes from how your look makes others feel. What makes this sign so special is that it reflects consistency. You don't dress up for show, you do it for you. You show that even as the years go by, you still care. And that level of care is rare. It's attractive not because it tries too hard, but because it doesn't have to. It's that balance between effort and ease that makes people take a second look. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Sign 3, warm reactions from women without a clear reason. One of the most overlooked signs that you're a stunning older man is how women react to you when you're not trying to get their attention. It's in the unplanned moments when you're standing in line, walking down the street, or reaching for something at the store, and a woman offers you a smile, starts a conversation, or seems unusually at ease around you. These moments may seem casual, but they're often quiet signals of attraction that speak louder than words. You may not notice it right away because these reactions are subtle. A younger woman might ask you a question she didn't really need to ask. Someone might linger in conversation just a little longer than necessary. You may see glances, small smiles, or even light. Teasing, all gentle ways of signaling interest without being direct. And while you might chalk it up to friendliness, it's often much more than that. It's her way of acknowledging something about you that feels trustworthy, appealing, and maybe even a little mysterious. Let me tell you about Thomas. He's 72 and was out shopping for a new pair of walking shoes. He struck up a short conversation with a woman in her 50s who was also browsing. Nothing flirty, nothing planned. But when he thanked her and walked away, she followed with one more comment just to keep the connection going. Later, she smiled at him across the store as if they were old friends. Thomas laughed it off, but his granddaughter, who had been watching, said, "Grandpa, she was totally into you." That's the kind of moment most men overlook. But women don't give that kind of energy to someone they're not drawn to. You see, when a man carries himself with relaxed confidence, people naturally gravitate toward him. Women especially respond to authenticity and calm energy. It signals that you're not trying too hard, that you're comfortable in your skin, and that comfort makes you feel safe, present, and grounded. That's rare. That's magnetic. And yes, that's stunning. So if you've noticed women striking up conversations, laughing a little too easily at your jokes, or making eye contact and smiling, even when you're just going about your day, pay attention. That's not just politeness. That's a reflection of how you're perceived, even when you don't see it yourself. Sign 4, making people feel safe and heard. There's something deeply attractive about a man who makes people feel safe, emotionally, mentally, even physically. And if you're someone others seem to open up to easily, or if people often say they feel calm around you, that's not by accident. It's a sign that you carry a certain emotional presence that's hard to find. You listen without interrupting. You don't rush to give advice unless asked. You hold space for someone's thoughts without making it about yourself. That kind of presence isn't just kind, it's stunning. Women especially are drawn to this. It's not always about looks or charm or clever conversation. Sometimes it's about how you make them feel. Do they feel safe when they speak to you? Do they feel like their words are being received, not judged? If so, then you're giving them something more valuable than compliments. You're giving them your attention. And attention, when given with sincerity, is one of the most attractive qualities a man can offer. Let me share the story of Leonard. He's 80 and volunteers at a local community center. One of the younger women who works there told her friend, "I always feel better after I talk to him." She couldn't explain why. It wasn't what he said. It was how he listened. She said he made her feel like her thoughts mattered, like she wasn't being talked down to or brushed off. That quiet validation, that sense of emotional safety, is what people remember. And it lingers long after the conversation ends. When you make people feel seen and valued, they associate those feelings with you. You become someone they want to be around, not because you entertain them or impress them, but because your presence brings peace. And peace in a world full of noise is rare. That's why you may find people seeking your company, sharing things with you they don't tell others, or even just sitting quietly near you. They're not there for what you do. They're there for who you are. This quality doesn't come from trying harder. It comes from being fully yourself, grounded, steady, and genuinely interested in others. And that emotional intelligence, that calm receptiveness, is one of the clearest signs that you are far more attractive than you may realize. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Sign 5, being sought out for advice or guidance. If people often come to you for advice, whether it's about relationships, careers, health, or just life in general, it's a sign that your presence carries weight. And while it may not seem like a compliment at first, it absolutely is. When others seek your guidance, what they're really saying is they see you as someone who's lived, learned, and earned wisdom through experience. And that level of trust and respect doesn't come easily. What makes this so attractive isn't the advice itself. It's the calm authority behind it. You're not trying to control anyone or tell them what to do. You offer thoughts when asked, share from your own journey, and speak with the kind of clarity that only comes from having seen life from both the peaks and the valleys. That grounded insight, the ability to say just enough in just the right tone, makes people lean in when you speak. It draws them in not with force, but with quiet confidence. Let me tell you about Frank. He's 78 and has a reputation in his neighborhood as the guy to talk to when life feels too loud. Teenagers have asked him about college. Couples have asked him about marriage. Neighbors have sat on his porch just to hear his stories. And he doesn't hand out answers like candy. He listens first. He gives people room to think. And when he finally speaks, it's not flashy. It's thoughtful, measured, meaningful. And that's what makes his words and his presence so unforgettable. When others consistently look to you for steady advice, or even just a quiet place to think aloud, they're responding to something deeper than appearance. They're drawn to the way you carry your experience, the humility in your tone, and the respect you show for other people's journeys. That emotional steadiness, that inner compass, is something many people crave, and they find it in you. So if people often call you just to talk things through, if you found yourself offering comfort without even realizing it, or if others walk away from a conversation with you saying, "I feel better now," don't dismiss it. You're not just giving advice. You're offering something rare. And that quiet strength, anchored in wisdom, is one of the clearest signs of a truly stunning man. Sign 6, your sense of humor makes people light up. One of the most charming signs that you're a stunning older man is when people, especially women, laugh at your jokes, even the corny ones. Humor is an emotional connector, and when others laugh with you, they're showing more than just appreciation for the punchline. They're revealing that they enjoy your company, feel safe in your presence, and are drawn to the lightheartedness you bring. Even when the joke is familiar or groan-worthy, the laughter often speaks volumes about how others feel when they're around you. This kind of humor isn't about being the funniest person in the room or delivering a perfect one-liner. It's about warmth. It's about a man who doesn't take himself too seriously, who can poke fun at life's little absurdities, and who makes others feel like it's okay to relax, smile, and just be. That ease is magnetic. It breaks tension, builds trust, and reminds people that life is still full of joy, even in its quietest moments. Let me tell you about Harold. He's 81 and famous among his friends and neighbors for telling the same 3 dad jokes at every gathering. Everyone knows them, everyone rolls their eyes, and everyone laughs. Why? Because Harold's delivery is full of charm, and more importantly, people enjoy being around him. His jokes may be simple, but they always come with a warm smile, a sparkle in his eye, and a sense that he's inviting everyone to share in a moment of lightness. People don't come for the punchline, they come for how he makes them feel. What makes this sign especially powerful is that it reveals emotional maturity. A man who can laugh, especially at himself, shows that he's secure, open, and willing to connect. He doesn't need to impress anyone. He just wants to share a laugh. And that authenticity is what draws people in. It's not about perfection. It's about connection. It's about creating moments of joy that make others want to stay a little longer, listen a little more, and remember the way you made them feel. So if people laugh with you, even at the jokes you've told a dozen times before, or if they seem to brighten just a little in your presence, Take it as a quiet sign of your impact. Your humor isn't just funny, it's comforting. And that comfort is a form of beauty that leaves a lasting impression. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Sign 7, you still catch glances and subtle flirting. One of the most overlooked but telling signs that you're a stunning older man is when you still catch those glances, the kind that linger just a little too long, the kind that carry curiosity or admiration. Women may not always express their interest directly, but body language speaks clearly. A second look, a gentle smile, a brief brush of the hand in conversation, or a light laugh that seems just a bit too eager. All of these can be quiet forms of flirting that many men don't even realize are happening. You might be surprised by how often it occurs. Maybe someone adjusts her hair while talking to you, or mirrors your body language without thinking. Maybe she seems to find reasons to be nearby, or strike up conversation over small things. These gestures aren't loud, but they're intentional. They suggest a kind of attention that goes deeper than surface politeness. It's not about age. It's about presence, personality, and that particular magnetism that doesn't fade, it deepens. Let me tell you about Charles. He's 77 and walks every morning at the local park. One woman about 20 years younger started greeting him daily. At first it was small talk, weather, walking routes, shared nods. But over time she started lingering. She smiled more. She matched his pace. And one day she admitted, "You know, I really enjoy seeing you out here." Charles didn't consider it flirting, but others watching saw the signs clearly. It was in the way she leaned in when he spoke, the way her tone softened, the way she smiled even after the conversation ended. These are the signs many older men miss because they've been conditioned to believe that age makes them invisible. But that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, your age might be exactly what some women find attractive. There's a strength in your silence, a depth in your stories, a comfort in your presence that speaks louder than youthful charm ever could. And women, often without fully realizing it, respond to that energy. So if you've ever noticed someone watching you from across the room, if you've been caught in lingering eye contact, or if a simple touch during a conversation felt like more than coincidence, believe it, these are not accidents. These are the signs of a man who still has gravity, who still turns heads, who still makes hearts stir in quiet, undeniable ways. Final thoughts. As we close out this video, take a moment to reflect on the signs we've explored. Which ones felt familiar? Which ones surprised you? You may have gone most of your life not thinking of yourself as stunning, especially if the world around you doesn't often say it out loud. But the truth is, real attractiveness doesn't shout. It's quiet, it's subtle, and it often shows up in the way others respond to your presence, your energy, and your spirit. Being a stunning older man isn't about chasing youth. It's about stepping fully into the man you've become, with grace, humor, wisdom, and confidence. It's about knowing that your value doesn't fade with time, it deepens. And while you may not always notice the impact you have, the people around you do. They feel your steadiness, your kindness, your insight, and yes, even your humor. And they are drawn to it. You don't need a reminder to be someone else. You need a reminder to keep being exactly who you are, because who you are is already magnetic. You've lived through decades of joy and hardship, lessons and love, and all of that has shaped you into someone truly remarkable. Whether or not you've heard it lately, I'll say it now, you are more attractive, more compelling, and more appreciated than you probably realize. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.